Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading today from the fourth canto Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 20th chapter, text 34. Maitreya Uvaja Iti Vainyasya Rajarshe Pratinandyartavat Vaja Puchito Nigrit Puchito Nugrihitvainam Gantum Chakre Chutomatim Maitreya Uvacha Iti Vainyasya Rajarshe Pratinandyartavat Vacha Puchito Nugrihitvainam Gantum Chakre Chutomatim. Yes, please. Maitreya Uvacha Gantum Chakre Chutomatim. Maitreya Uvacha Iti Vainyasya Rajarshe Pratinandyartavat Vacha Bhujito Nugrihitvainam Gantum Chakre Chutomatim. Ladies? Maitreya Uvacha Iti Vainyasya Rajarshe Pratinandyartavat Vacha Puchito Nugrihitvainam Gantum Chakre Chutomatim. Maitreya Uvacha Iti Vainyasya Rajarshe Pratinandyartavat Vacha Puchito Nugrihitvainam Gantum Chakre Chutomatim. Thank you. Word for word translation. Maitreya Uvacha The great sage Maitreya continued to speak. Iti, thus, Vainyasya, of the son of King Vena, in brackets Prithu Maharaj, Raja Rshe, of the saintly king, Pratinandya, appreciating, Artavat, Vacha, the prayers which were full of meaning, Pujita, being worshipped, Anugrihitva, sufficiently benedicting, Enam, King Prithu, Gantum, to go from that place, Chakre, made up, Achyuta, the infallible Lord, Matim, his mind. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The great saint Maitreya said to Vidura, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this, thank you, not necessarily need to be repeated. The Supreme Personality of Godhead amply appreciated the meaningful prayers of Maharaj Prithu. Thus, after being properly worshipped by the king, the Lord blessed him and decided to depart. That's just telling the story. Yeah, Maitreya was speaking to Vidura, and he informed Vidura, now the prayers of King Prithu came to an end, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is going to leave the place. Purport. Most important in this verse are the words pratinandyartavad vacha, which indicate that the Lord appreciated the very meaningful prayers of the king. When a devotee prays to the Lord, it is not to ask for material benefits, but to ask the Lord for his favor. He prays that he may be engaged in the service of the Lord's lotus feet, birth after birth. Lord Chaitanya therefore uses the words mana janmani janmani, which mean birth after birth, because a devotee is not even interested in stopping the repetition of birth. The Lord and the devotee appear in this material world birth after birth, but such births are transcendental. In the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Lord informed Arjuna that both he and Arjuna had undergone many, many births previously, but the Lord remembered everything about them, whereas Arjuna had forgotten. The Lord and his confidential devotees appear many times to fulfill the Lord's mission. But since such births are transcendental, they are not accompanied by the miserable conditions of material birth, and they are thereby called divya, transcendental. One must understand the transcendental birth of the Lord and the devotee. The purpose of the Lord's taking birth is to establish devotional service, which is the perfect system of religion. And the purpose of the birth of a devotee is to broadcast the same system of religion, or the bhakti cult, all over the world. Prithu Maharaj was an incarnation of the power of the Lord to spread the bhakti cult. And the Lord blessed him to remain fixed in his position. Thus, when the king refused to accept any material benediction, the Lord appreciated that refusal very much. Another significant word in this verse is achyuta, which means infallible. Although the Lord appears in this material world, he is never to be considered one of the conditioned souls, who are all fallible. When the Lord appears, he remains in his spiritual position, uncontaminated by the modes of material nature. And therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord expresses the quality of his appearance as Atma Mayaya, performed by internal potency. The Lord, being infallible, is not forced by material nature to take birth in this material world. He appears in order to re-establish the perfect order of religious principles and to vanquish the demoniac influence in human society. Hare Krishna. Mukam karoti vachalang pangong langayate girin yat kripa tangahang vande Shri Gurun dinataranam Homa Yajna timirandasya Jnananjana shalakaya Chakshurun militangena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare We will hear again the verse. The great saint Maitreya told to Vidura, the Supreme Personality of Godhead amply appreciated the meaningful prayers of Maharaj Prithu. Thus, after being properly worshipped by the king, the Lord blessed him and decided to depart. So, it's interesting to see that we have Prithu Maharaj here worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead by offering prayers to him. When we have a look on the 9 processes of devotional service mentioned by Prahlad Maharaj, then for each of these processes a personality is given as demonstrating that process in perfection. And Prithu Maharaj is mentioned there for which process? Anyone knows? Arjana, yes, thank you. Worshipping the Lord, yeah, in his deity form. And actually he was then also worshipping Lord Vishnu in his Murti form, but here he was perfectly, in these last few verses what we heard, he was perfectly worshipping the Lord with prayers, with offering prayers. Although offering prayers is also one of the 9 processes, it's Vandanam, and that one in perfection is performed by whom? Akrura, yes, thank you. So here also Prithu Maharaj is offering prayers, and we hear throughout the Bhagavatam many wonderful prayers. Prayers are a very important and powerful means for a devotee to connect with the Lord. Yeah. Prabhupada mentions in the purport that a devotee should not just pray for material gain. We don't use the Lord to supply our desires. Give me this, give me that, I'm in danger, please help me there. And this is like pulling the Lord, who is always, as we heard, always on the transcendental platform, pulling him down on our level and trying to arrange our lives in a comfortable way and using the Lord to adjust our comforts. Yeah? That should not be our main intention in praying. Of course, especially as being here, situated at the lotus feet of Sri Prahlad Lakshmi Nishinga, it is of course also an justified approach to go with our difficulties to the Lord. Actually, once Ramananda Gopal Prabhu told me, see, Radha and Krishna, they are somewhere in their pastimes. Yeah? They don't so much bother about us here. But Lord Nishingadev, he's right there. And he wants to hear about our problems. And he's ready to help. Yeah? He's ready to help immediately. He comes even to us. He appears for one of his devotees, Prahlad Maharaj, to save him from his dangers in this world. So the Lord has that aspect also. And I would like to share with you a prayer spoken by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who shows how we can approach Lord Nishingadev in prayers. Actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gives us the right understanding of how Lord Nishingadev is instrumental and supportive on our spiritual path, how he helps us to progress. This is from Navadvip Bhava Taranga, written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he says, within my sinful heart, the 6 enemies, headed by lust, perpetually reside. There is lust, greed, anger, envy, illusion, and madness situated in our hearts as the 6 enemies. So, also duplicity, Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions. Then the desire for fame, plus sheer cunning. What does that mean in German? Cunning. Cunning. Listic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah, list. Mm-hmm. So all of that is in my heart. This is how Bhaktivinoda prays when he approaches Lord Nishingadev. And then he says, at the lotus feet of Lord Nishingadev, I hope that he will mercifully purify my heart and give me the desire to serve Lord Krishna. Yeah. Lord Nishingadev came to eradicate the demoniac nature of Hiranyakashipu. But this nature is also there up to a certain degree in all of our hearts. And this is how we can approach Lord Nishingadev in praying to remove these impurities from our heart, so that the path is made, that the path is paved nicely to approach Radha and Krishna, which is our ultimate aspiration. Then Bhaktivinoda continues to pray. Weeping, I will beg at the lotus feet of Lord Nishinga for the benediction of worshipping Radha and Krishna in Navadvip. That means worshipping Radha and Krishna in the merciful incarnation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Perfectly safe and free from all difficulties. When will this Lord Hari, whose terrible form strikes fear into fear itself, ever become pleased and show me his mercy? Hari is also a name of the Lord who steals away everything. We approach him with the desire to please take away these impurities from my heart so that we can approach Radha and Krishna. And then he continues by saying, will that Lord delightedly place his own divine lotus feet upon my head? This is how he prays to Lord Nishingadev. Suddenly I will experience sublime love for the divine couple Radha Krishna and undergo the ecstatic transformations called sattvika. Falling on the ground, I will roll about by the door of Sri Nishinga's temple. So if you see some of you today rolling at the ground in front of Nishingadev's door, then we can understand that this devotee has prayed intensely for the lotus feet of Lord Nishingadev be placed on his head and becoming thus purified and developing the eagerness. Jai Jai Shri Shri Prahlad Lakshmi Nishinga Bhagavan. Develop the eagerness to serve Radha and Krishna, which is actually the gift brought by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this age of Kali. Now, we would like to hear a little more about prayers. Prayers should be the content of the day for a devotee. He should start the day with prayers. And during the day, the mood should be prayerful of a devotee. And he should end the day with a prayer. In the morning, we pray, my dear Lord, you woke me up. Now I'm ready to do whatever you wish me to do. Yeah? This is putting us immediately right away in the right condition, in the right attitude to understand we are servant of our spiritual master and his spiritual master and so on. We are dasa, dasanudas, and simply an instrument in their hands. And this is how we go through the day, by understanding we are only an instrument, and we pray to become a useful instrument in their hands. So there are wonderful prayers also given to us by Bhaktivinoda Thakur and other great acharyas such as Narodam Das Thakur, of whom we will also later on hear some prayers. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote a prayer as an introductory song to his Sharanagati song collection. Sharanagati is actually the path of surrender. And this path is sixfold. It has 6 aspects. It has the aspect of humility, understanding that we are lower than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and not demanding any respect for ourselves, but giving respect to everyone else. This is the aspect of humility. Then the aspect of accepting everything what is favorable for our devotion. Accepting everything what brings us closer to the Lord. And the opposite aspect is there, to reject everything what keeps us from coming closer to the Lord. That should always be our orientation. If we need to make a decision, an important decision in our lives, we should always have these two aspects in front of our eyes to understand which path to take. If the direction we choose will bring us closer to the Lord, so go for it. That's definitely something we have to aspire for. And if we understand this path will bring us away from the Lord, then better leave that direction aside. So these are two more aspects of the Sharanagati path. Then one aspect is to understand that the Lord is our only maintainer. He is our only maintainer. Nobody else can maintain us. That is going against our understanding of we are the controllers and we have to endeavor to maintain ourselves. What we can do is simply to surrender to the Lord's lotus feet and ask Him, call out for His guidance and protection and maintenance. If He doesn't want that some harm is caused to us, then nobody is able to harm us. And if He wants that some harm is afflicting us, then nobody can save us from that. So He is the one actually to turn to in order to be peaceful in mind that definitely the Lord is going to maintain me. And the other aspect, definitely the Lord is going to protect me. Yeah? It might not be a protection of the body. We may still become sick. Yeah? Devotees also become sick. That doesn't mean the Lord does not protect us. Yeah? The Lord is protecting our spiritual strength, our desire in the heart to come closer to Him. Because when He sees that desire in our heart, He is more pleased than we can ever be happy about performing Krishna consciousness. He is more pleased to see a devotee or a soul waking up again towards his or her eternal constitutional position as an eternal servant of the Lord. So He is endeavoring with all His strengths to bring that devotee closer to Him. This is how He protects a devotee. He sends him devotees. Yeah? There was a story of a devotee after some years of practicing Krishna consciousness. He had some experiences which made him leave the process and the association of devotees. And it so happened that he had an airplane trip. And on that trip, on his left side and on his right side, two devotees were sitting. They were traveling together, these two devotees, two ladies. And they got a huge parcel of prasadam along with them. Although they already had prasadam before they started their journey, they were not hungry. And the journey for them was just short. Yeah? So they were wondering, how comes that we get so much prasadam? It's too much for us. And it's very unusual that two persons who travel together don't sit next to each other. They somehow got the seats on both sides of that one person who wanted to avoid any devotee association. And one lady started to unpack the prasadam and started to try. Said, oh, that tastes very nice. And she offered to her neighbor. who doesn't seem to be a devotee, but he understood by their conversation, oh, these are devotees. And he was hungry. He was extremely hungry. Yeah? So he was angry in his mind. Now, Lord, I want to escape you, but you always make some arrangements in my life. You sent devotees, and now even prasadam, and I'm so hungry, I didn't eat the whole day, so I have to accept that. Yeah? And he took of that prasadam. So in this way, the very wonderful little episode, a real a story, what happened to a person, where we can just smile and understand the Lord is taking care of his devotees. Even if the devotee turns away from the Lord, the Lord cannot leave the devotee. He cannot let him go. He is trying to interfere from many sides and in many ways to bring that devotee back to his lotus feet. So these are two more aspects of the Sharanagati process. And then we have the last aspect, which is Atmanivedanam, to fully surrender one's whole self, one's body, mind and soul, everything to the Lord's lotus feet. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote this introductory song, Sharanagati, for his song collection. To each of these 6 aspects, he wrote 6 or 7 songs to explain it in more detail. But in this introductory song, he wrote a very important verse. Namely, he gave us an understanding which prayers the Lord is going to hear. Yeah? I'm going to read this verse to you. One who submits unconditionally to this 6-fold surrender, to these 6 aspects of Sharanagati, means humility. To take only what is favorable for our devotion and to leave aside what is not favorable. To see the Lord as our own only maintainer, and to see the Lord as our own only protector, and to give one's full self to the Lord. If we imbibe these 6 paths and pray in that attitude, then this prayer the Lord is going to hear. One who submits unconditionally to this 6-fold surrender has his prayers heard by the divine son of Sri Nanda Maharaj. Krishna is going to hear these prayers who are spoken with pure heart, with pure intention, with sincerity, and calling out for the help of the Lord to become able to advance on our devotional path. That means to get rid of the obstacles which hold us back to go deeper in our relationship with the Lord. Now, a devotee, he has a certain sequence of prayers. He is not just approaching the Lord and speaking, my dear Lord, please save me from this or from that, and in this way I will be able to advance. Our acharyas have given us a process of how to pray. And actually, we all start that process in the morning by singing Guru Vandana. Yeah? The Vandana is the prayer to the Guru, to the spiritual master. This is how we start our prayers. We turn to our spiritual master and ask him for helping us to advance on our path. He can give us prema bhakti, yeah? And he can take all ignorance from our heart. This is how we start. Then, after appreciating and paying our full respects to the spiritual master, the Vaishnava is going to pay his obeisances to all the Vaishnavas of the Lord. Yeah? considering himself as Dasa Dasa Nudas, as the servant of the servant of the servant of all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. And there is a wonderful prayer to the Vaishnavas by Devakinandan Das Thakur, an temporary and a contemporary associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And interestingly enough, he says, holding a straw between my teeth, I submit at the feet of all the servants of Mahaprabhu that were or will be. Yeah? That were in the past. I offer my obeisances to all of them, all these great souls who were the associates of the Lord, and also of those who will be the associates of the Lord. For those to come in the future means practically he offers his obeisances to anyone and everyone in this world. Because we don't know. Every soul is potentially a devotee, a pure devotee of the Lord. It's just a matter of time until we awaken to our understanding of being an eternal servant of the Lord. So Devakinandan Das, he's offering his obeisances to everyone. And then he says, I have heard their glorification in the Vedas and Puranas, which proclaim that each one of his devotees, of Mahaprabhu's devotees, has the Shakti to deliver an entire universe. Each one, each single one. And we have the wonderful example in our dear Srila Prabhupada, who took the task in his high advanced age of 69, turning 70 on the boat and coming to the West to spread Krishna consciousness and inaugurating a whole world movement with only 70 years. And this world movement is giving us the chance to hear about Krishna and to awaken to our actual position as an eternal servant of the Lord. So Devakinandan is offering his respects to all of them. This is how we start our prayers. First, we appreciate and glorify our spiritual master. Then we pay our respects to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. And there we have a wonderful song by Narodam Das Thakur, Oe Vaishnav Thakur. This is a prayer to all the Vaishnavas, and especially to the Acharyas, the ones who come to show us the path towards Radha and Krishna. And he says, alone I do not have the strength to perform my Harinam Sankirtan. Please be kind and give me one drop of faith. Shraddha Kripa, Shraddha Bindu Diya. Please give me a bindu, a drop of Shraddha. This is how Narodam Das Thakur prays to all the Vaishnavas. Give me a drop of faith. Please bestow upon me the priceless treasure of Krishna Nam. Krishna is yours. You have the power to give Krishna. I'm nothing more than a beggar running behind you, calling out, Krishna, Krishna. Here we have examples of great devotees asking at the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas for their blessings, for their mercy. It is by their mercy upon us that we are able to advance a little bit on our path. And then, having sufficiently glorified the Vaishnavas, we continue in our prayer and come to Lord Nityananda. Yeah? We approach Radha and Krishna and also Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Lord Nityananda. By calling out the names of Lord Nityananda, we will be able to approach Lord Gauranga. And there also we find a wonderful prayer Shri Nityananda Nishta, Nitai Pada Kamala. You may know that prayer. It is often sung on Nityananda's appearance day. It says, Nitai's lotus feet are more cooling than the shining of millions of moons. Their shade gives solace to the universe. O brother, without a personality such as Nitai, it is not possible to attain Radha and Krishna. So hold on very tightly to his lotus feet. If someone has not yet established his relationship with Nityananda Prabhu, his life has been wasted. He is no better than a gross animal. Not taking the name of Nitai on one's lips, one becomes absorbed in the so-called happiness of this world. Then what is the value of one's education and birth in a high family or great nation? Forgetting Nitai's lotus feet, one becomes maddened by the false concept of bodily life and considers the illusory energy as real. Receiving the mercy of Nitai, he can attain Sri Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. Firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Nitai. This is how the devotee then prays to Lord Nityananda to get his mercy. And having approached Nitai, the next step is to approach Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Also there we have wonderful prayers. Again, a prayer by Narodam Das Thakur, Gorangera Duti Pade, the two divine lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There it says, the person who accepts the two lotus feet of Sri Gauranga as the treasure of all treasures knows the essence of Bhakti Ras, the divine mellows of devotional service. And if the sweet pastimes of Gauranga have actually entered through the threshold of someone's ears, that person is pure in heart. And it says, that person who understands that Gauranga's personal associates are Nityasiddha, eternally perfected, is promoted to the transcendental abode of Brajendra Sutta, the son of Braja's chief, Lord Krishna. One who knows the divine abode of Sri Gaura Mandala, Sri Navadvip, to be transcendental touchstone, Chintamani, is in truth a resident of Brajabhumi, Sri Vrindavan. And then it is said, Gaura Prem is an ocean of rasa. One who dives deep in the waves of that ocean becomes a confidential associate of Sri Radha Madhava. This is the access to Radha and Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. It's through the mercy of Lord Nityananda who brings us to Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. And by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, by diving deeply in the ocean of Gaura Prem, we come out in the ocean of Krishna Prem in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Whether one lives in his home as a grihasta or in the forest as a renunciate, as long as he exclaims, Ha Gauranga, Narodam Das begs for his Sangha. This is how Narodam Das Thakur is showing us how we have to appreciate the association of all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, because they can give us the access of Lord Nityananda's lotus feet and the access of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then, having prayed in this way, we approach Radha and Krishna. And this approach actually is done in a threefold way. We hear that mentioned by Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He is mentioning 64 items of devotional service. And in one of these items, he mentions submission. Submission means to give one's full body to the lotus feet of the Lord. And in that Anga, Rupa Goswami mentions 3 sections of prayers: Danya Vodika, Samprarthanatmika, and Lala Samayi. Danya Vodika is expressing one's fallen condition. This is how we understand that there is actually not so much good sides in our hearts, but by the mercy of the Vaishnavas and Guru Gauranga, we will be able to advance. Then there is the prayer of Samprarthanatmika, which is expressing our desire for again developing attachment for the Lord. And then we have the prayer of Lala Samayi, which is expressing lolyam, greed, for again being established in the service of Radha and Krishna. I would like to share with you examples of these 3 prayers. The prayer of Danya Vodika, expressing our fallen condition. We have the song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gopinath. You may know that. Oh Gopinath, everything here is your illusory energy. I have no strength or spiritual knowledge, and this body of mine is not independent or free from the control of material nature. Oh Gopinath, this sinner who is weeping and weeping begs for an eternal place at your lotus feet. Please give him your mercy. Oh Gopinath, you are able to do anything, and therefore you have the power to deliver all sinners. Who is there that is more of a sinner than myself? This is how Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays. Then someone who is praying for attachment to the Lord's holy name and the Lord's lotus feet is praying in the following way. This is a song, Gauranga Bolite Habe, by Narodam Das Thakur. Actually, Prabhupada sang that song with his devotees and his disciples and wanted them to learn that song by heart. It is said, when will that time come that my hairs will and stand on end upon singing the name Gauranga? When will my eyes be filled with tears as I chant the holy names of Hari Hari? And when will the moon of Nityananda Prabhu bestow his mercy on me? When will my material desires become small and insignificant? When will I eagerly follow the path of Sri Rupa Goswami and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami? By their instructions, I will be able to understand the divine love of Sri Radha and Krishna. My only aspiration is to attain the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Goswami and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. This is Narodam Das' constant prayer. And then the prayer of someone who has developed an eagerness to again serve in one's constitutional position as an eternal servant of the Lord. He prays like that. This is a prayer also written by Narodam Das Thakur, Radha Krishna Pranamor. The divine useful couple are my life and soul. In life or death, I have no other goal but them. In the Keli Kadamba forests on the banks of Yamuna, there is a golden platform studded with jewels. I will seat Yugala Kishore, Radha and Krishna on that throne. I will decorate black Krishna and golden Radha with sandal paste scented with chuva. I will fan them with a chamara and behold their moon-like faces. I will place garlands of malati flowers around their necks and then offer tambul, betel nut, flavored with camphor, in their lotus mouths. Receiving the order of Lalita, Vishaka, and the other Sakhis, I will serve their lotus feet. Narodam Das, servant of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, prays for the seva of the divine couple. This is how a devotee prays, starting from paying his obeisances to his spiritual master and asking for blessings from all the Vaishnavas, then approaching Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, and then approaching with humility the divine couple and calling out again for attraction to chant the holy name, for attraction to the pastimes of the Lord, for attraction also to hear about the different associates of the Lord, like Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, and then to call out again for being established in our eternal service as eternal servants of Radha and Krishna. This is what I wanted to share with you in regard to prayers. It is actually a wonderful time now. We are just before Srimati Radharani's appearance, so it is a wonderful practice to use these few days before her divine appearance to cultivate a little bit our mood of prayers, to offer such prayers to Radha and Krishna and calling out for their blessings. I wanted to shortly also come to one different topic. Today we have the appearance day of Sita Thakurani. She is the wife of Advaitacharya. Advaitacharya is a combination of Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. Yeah? And he was the one actually who called Lord Chaitanya to appear on the planet, simply by worshipping a Shalagram Shila with a little bit of Ganga Jal, a little bit of water from the Ganga, and Tulsi leaves offered devotionally to the Shalagram Shila. And Sita Thakurani was Advaitacharya's wife, and it is said in Ganodesh Deepika that she is Yoga Maya, who is actually Purnamasi in Krishna Lila. Purnamasi in Krishna Lila is Madhumangal's grandmother and Nandimukhi's, Madhumangal and Nandimukhi's grandmother, and she is a disciple of Narada Muni. So she is the one arranging all the pastimes of the Lord. And also when Mahaprabhu appeared, she was there actually bringing presents to Sachi Devi and instructing her in how to care for little Nimai. Sita Thakurani also was the one lady who gave the name Nimai to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That was done in order to protect Lord Chaitanya from evil influences. He was born under a neem tree, and neem is bitter, is a very bitter leaf. So that is also to protect, that is chasing away all bad influences. And to protect little Nimai, she gave him that name. And she was instrumental, she was actually around whenever there were ceremonies done to the Lord. Then Sachi Mata was calling her to be the first one to worship Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu was visiting her in Shantipur, visiting Advaitacharya, and she was cooking very opulent feasts for the Lord. He especially preferred shak preparations, and Sita Thakurani was very expert in preparing all these preparations for the Lord. So she has her divine appearance today, and it is also for us an opportunity to pray to her to remove the curtain of ignorance from our vision. As Yoga Maya, she appears to those who are in the transcendental spiritual consciousness. But to those who are in the material consciousness, she appears as Mahamaya. Yeah, and we can approach her today by calling out for her mercy to remove our ignorance, to give us the spiritual vision. Especially now, this is important since we are at the beginning of a festival. 2 festivals actually will be celebrated next days. It will be Srimati Radharani's appearance and the installation day of Shri Prahlad Lakshmi Nishinga. So definitely there is a need for all of us to come on a transcendental platform, to not remain on the bodily platform and see the difficulties or criticism or whatever else may not be favorable for our devotional practice. So today is the opportunity to pray for Sita Thakurani's mercy on us to remove that material vision and give us spiritual vision. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. That was what I wanted to share with you. Are there any questions or comments? Yes.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the lecture. So you said Sita Thakurani is a disciple of Narada Muni or Yogamaya?
Yogamaya.
Disciple of Narada Muni?
Yes. Yes.
Very interesting. Thank you.
He has many exalted disciples. No? Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. When one devotee is in some kind of conflict or maybe some miscommunication is happening with other devotees, how to keep up this mood of appreciation at the same time?
Hate the sin but not the sinner. Yeah. That's always the approach. We understand we are conditioned and we are on the way and we have our difficulties and we have to somehow rather cope with them, and we are not always able to cope with them in the proper way and the proper attitude. So who are we to judge others? Still, we are asked to remain compassionate. Prabhupada, he was chastising very heavily, but in a moment after, he was again peaceful and compassionate to the devotees. He did not keep grudges in his heart. He chastised where it was necessary, but then he again displayed his compassion towards them. Even devotees who left the movement and who were not allowed by their god brothers to approach Prabhupada, when they came back, Prabhupada called for them, because one devotee, once after a long period of absence, he came back and he wanted to see Prabhupada, and his god brothers, they denied access to Prabhupada. But Prabhupada heard the commotion outside the room and he said, please bring him in. And he came in and he paid flat obeisances to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada accepted him back. He didn't even ask, where were you, what did you do, why you left him. He just compassionately welcomed him back. This should be the attitude of a Vaishnava. Understanding that we have our difficulties on the way, and we cannot overcome them when we react towards their attitude with harshness, but rather with compassion and love. We are able to give up our tendencies which are not favorable for devotion. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gopremanandi Hari Hari Bo.